this uh, video, that 7 pages of that value analysis. In that 7 pages, what are the different stages or different phases of that value analysis we go through it previously. So in these 7 pages, we are trying to find out that unwanted element. We are trying to find out that unwanted element so that we can remove this, or we can remove that particular cost, and we can improve value of that particular product or service. So in this value analysis, it is a removal of that unwanted element or unwanted functions, so that value, we can improve that value of that particular product or service. So there are 7 pages in that value analysis. We already go through it, and during these 7 pages, in these 7 pages, we can apply this value analysis for materials or resources. We can apply this value analysis to the resources, material, method, process, services, etc. And also we apply this value analysis to the high cost elements which have top priority in the application of this value analysis, and also to those material which having some shortage or scarceness. So for these type of the materials, we can apply that value analysis, and we can reduce that cost of that particular product. So we can apply this value analysis to the capital, such as the good plants, equipments, machinery, like that. Some raw, we can apply to the raw materials. We can apply to the subcontracted part, purchaser parts. We can apply to the maintenance, finishing parts, packaging material, resources, or energy resources such as the power or utilities, water, compressor air, steam, etc. Material handling and transportation cost. So we can apply this value analysis to the each elements, and we can reduce that particular cost. We can reduce that particular cost of the product. So these are value analysis questionnaire. This is value analysis questionnaire. Now we consider what are the advantages? It reduces price. With same quality. It reduces price of the particular product or service with the same quality. Also, effectiveness of management we can measure in terms of the cost saving. Also, it helpful for the idea generation, and for the again in R&D department, involvement of that employee for that idea generation or solving that problem is also available, or we can find in this value analysis, so that the resistance for change in process is very less. Resistance for change in process is very less in this value analysis. So we consider one example of this value analysis. This is a graphite pencil, a simple graphite pencil we consider for this value analysis interpretation. So this value analysis of graphite pencil, we used here a matrix method. So in this value analysis of this graphite pencil by matrix method, so in this matrix method, one table is prepared in which these different elements are considered. These elements are the major elements. And each element have some function. For each function, we give some or give notation to the each function. As A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc. And for each function, we give name to their functions by any alphabets, A, B, C, D, etc. Again, we give some weightage. Again, we find correlation between these elements, between the functions of these elements. Give weightage for the correlation of these functions on the scale of 1 to 3. On the scale of 1 to 3. After giving this weightage, again we add this and find out that raw score. And again it converted into the weightage scale of 1 to 10. Weightage scale of that 1 to 10. And then we can conclude that these some according to that weightages and according to that value obtained, we can conclude that whether this function is or these elements are essential, or we can improve that elements. So that cost for that elements we can reduce it. So here we consider some example, graphite pencil example. So in this example, this graphite pencil having cost of rupees 2, and part in this to make that pencil is we consider as a wood, lead, adhesive, paint and embossing. So major four elements we observe here. So these elements here considered as like this. And for each element how much cost is there is considered. For wood 110 paisa, for lead 35 paise, paint 25 paise, adhesive 10 paise, like that, and total is rupees 2. So now here we consider that four elements. Four major elements: lead, wood, paint and adhesive. So for each element there is some function. For each element, for lead there is a function to make mark. Is the function, and it is denoted by letter A. Similarly, for wood there are four functions: provide grip, to facilitate sharpening, to protect lead, to protect hand. And for each function of this wood is denoted by B, C, D, E. Similarly, for paint, to provide smoothness, to improve aesthetic. So these functions give name as a F and G. Adhesive, to improve bonding, to show branding, and giving notation as a H and I. So these, we identify some major elements. For each element, again there are some functions. For functions we denote some notation as alphabets A, B, C, D, etc. And then we decide some major functions. And these functions we introduce in a table. Like this. These functions we can introduce in this table, and which will appear like this. So this is a value analysis matrix method table. So, or we can say that it is a matrix having different functions. In this table there are these columns denoted as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. These are the functions that we given name to this each function. Now here also we denote this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So here that correlation between this A and B, we here not considered. So correlation between B and C. So correlation between A and B are not considered for C. Correlation for A, B, C are not considered for D element. So we arrange these names for this function such that there is a very less correlation between these remaining functions. For C, A and B, for D, A, B, C, like that. For E, A, B, C, D, like that. So arrange these function names as a B, C, D, like this. And in this column we can write these function names A, B, C, D, E, F up to the G, H, I. And here this column is represented as a raw score. Again, next column is a weightage column. Next column is a weightage column 1 to 10. 1 to 10. So in this raw score, there is a summation. In this raw score, there is a summation of each function, summation of weightages of this respective function, So for this 24, for this element A of function A, 24 for this function A is a summation of this weightage given to this function. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, 8 times it is given as a 24. It is a 24 raw score for this function A, Now this A3 is given as a weightage on the scale of 1 to 3, weightage on that scale 1 to 3, and which represent correlation between these two functions A and B. For this cell represent correlation between these two functions A and B, and in between these two functions A and B, A is important, and we give importance for this A function on the scale 1 to 3 as a 3. So if you look here, this A function is nothing but a lead. This is related to lead and to make a mark. So make a mark. This is major desirable property or desirable function in this pencil. Make a mark. If that pencil doesn't make a mark, then it is a not useful for any means. So it is a major function, make a mark. So this, to making the mark, lead is a major element. So lead, making a mark for that lead element is a function is a. So this A function is most important. And we consider this function importance given by weightage as a A3. So in between this A, B, A is important with giving weightage as a A3. Between A and C, again there is a A is important, giving weightage as a A3. So C is nothing but a facilitated sharpening. So again A3. For D, again D is related to the protect lead. Again it is A is important. E, F, G. For E, F, G, it is a related to the protect hand, provide smoothness, improve aesthetic. So these correlations, these are A is important with weightage 3. H are related to the improve bonding and show branding. So again here A is given weightage, and it is a weightage given as a 3 in 1 to 3 scale. 3 scale is given. So for this A, their addition is now comes as a 24. 3 addition of 3, 8 times it is 24. Now for B, again for this B, correlation of B and C, here in this case, correlation of B and C. So B is related to provide grip and C is the facilitated sharpening. So in this case we given weightage, more weightage to the C, on the scale 1 to 3, given weightage as a 2. Again for D, D is related to the protect lead. D again given weightage with respect to the B, given importance with respect to B as a D2. Again for E, now for E, in between E and B, E is nothing but a protect hand, so and B is nothing but a provide grip. So in between these two functions, importance given to the B, and on the scale 1 to 3 it is given as a 1 importance. Now for F again, this F is related to the provide smoothness. So this F again given weightage Again with respect to f, instead of giving weightage to the f, giving weightage to the b, b2. Again with respect to g, it is b2. For h, it is a h2. Now h and h here, for h is related to the improved bonding. So weightage is given to the h2. For I, here I, it is related to the show brand name. So weightage is given to the b2, like that. And summation of now, this 7 is a summation of respective elements. So summation of respective element b1, 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, and 5 plus 2, 7. So this summation is the summation of that particular score or weightage given on scale 1 to 3 for that particular element. So it is a 7. For C, in case of C, C to D, C to E, correlation between C to E, C to F, C to G, C to H, and C to I, like that. Again, importance in between the C to D, it is given for the element D. It is given for that element D, and it is on the scale, it is given as a 1 to, it is given as a 2. For C to E, that weight is given to the C on the scale 1 to 3, it is a 2. For C to F, again it is given weightage to the C 2. For C to G, again weightage given to the C 2. For H, C and H, weightage given to the H. Now C and H, C is a facility sharpening and H is the improved bonding. So it is given the weightage to the H. It is given to the weightage to the H on the scale 1 to 3, 2. For I, again weightage given to for C as a 2. And again summation 8 related to the summation of respective element C. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, it is 8. Like that. It is 8 like that. Now for D, again correlation between D to E, D to F, D to G, D to H, and D to I. Again it is given respective importance in between this D to E given to the D. So D is related to the protect lead, E is related to the protect hand. So weight is given to the D1, like that. Again here it comes as a C1. For E similarly for F, similarly for G, and similarly H, and similarly I. Now a correlation of I with respect to I, here weight is given as a 2. Here weight is given as a 2. Correlation of H with respect to I, weight is given as a to the H on the scale 1 to 3, it is a 3. Now here G, for G, here in between this correlation between G to H and G to I, importance given to the H and I. So here G score is a 0, but instead of considering 0, it is a 0 plus 1 half of the less element score. 0 plus 1 half of that less element score. So less element score is a 2. Less element score here is a 2. So 2 divided by 1 half of this 2 is 1. This 1 plus 0. So total score for G is now it will become 1. 0 plus 1 half of the lowest score. 1 half of the lowest score in this is 2. So 1 half of this 2 is 1. 0 plus 1 is a score 1 for the G element. Now again weight of this weightage for this each function we have calculated as a on the scale of 1 to 10. 1 to 10. So highest score is a 24. Highest score for a function is a 24. For this highest score we given weightage as a 10. For 24 it is given as a 10. Now if for 24 it is a 10, for 7 it is how much? So it is a 2.92. For 24 it is a 10, then for 8 it is a 3.33. Like that. For 24 it is a 10, for 6 it is a 2.5. For 24 it is a 10, so for 1 it is a 0.42, like that. And accordingly we calculate weightage of this function, Now from this weightage of this function, we can know that, or you can find that, this function, G function, I function have very less weightage, having very less weightage score So we can try to improve this. Or we can find substitute. For the G and I. Try to find out substitute for G and I such that these functions we can eliminate by another means, or we can find out substitute for these functions. And we can reduce this cost. Of this pencil. So this is nothing but a value analysis of graphite pencil by matrix method. So this is the one example for the value analysis by matrix method. In next topic we go through that another element of that value analysis.